On June 24th, 2022, I lived the first day of my life in a post-Roe America. This is a historic event, comparative only to when the greatest generation freed the world of Nazi Germany, or the abolition of slavery here in the United States of America. This day marks the day where children in the womb are more protected than they have ever been. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, that doesn't make abortion illegal. It sends it back to the states. And 13 states have what's called trigger laws. They had statutes on the books at the state level that in the event that Roe v. Wade was overturned, it would make abortion in their states illegal. That means 13 states across the country, in their states, abortion is now illegal. Who's responsible for this? Who's to thank for this? President Trump's to thank for this. President Trump appointed 3 Supreme Court justices to the court, all 3 of whom voted to overturn Roe v. Wade. This is also thanks to Mitch McConnell. If Mitch McConnell had not debunked the leftist narrative that said President Trump had no right to nominate a Supreme Court justice in his election year before he was up for re-election, if McConnell had not debunked that, we wouldn't be here where we are today. If Brett Kavanaugh had not fought back against the false allegations of misconduct, if he had not said that's a lie, that's false, he wouldn't be on the Supreme Court today. We wouldn't have had that vote and Roe v. Wade wouldn't have been overturned. If Ruth Bader Ginsburg had retired when she probably should have retired during the Obama administration, we wouldn't have a situation today where the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. If Senator Harry Reid, had not abolished the filibuster in the Senate for judicial nominees, we wouldn't have 3 Supreme Court justices appointed by Trump on the Supreme Court who overturned Roe v. Wade. If pro-life activists across the country had not spent the last 49 years fighting and praying and taking legislative action at the state level, changing hearts and minds across the country, the Supreme Court would not have overturned Roe v. Wade. Culture wars matter. We're so used to this idea of instant gratification where if we fight for something, we want to see the result immediately. Critical race theory, we see it, we say it's bad, we want it eliminated from schools immediately. Queer theory in schools, we see it, we know it's bad, we want it gone from children's programming, both at a corporate level and an educational level immediately. But pro-life activists across the country understood the long game when it came to the culture wars. They never gave up. For 49 years, they fought for Roe v. Wade. And because of this whole conglomeration of factors, one without the other, would not have brought the end of Roe v. Wade, but all of them together brought us to this day, this joyous day, this day of celebration, this day when one of the worst rulings the Supreme Court has ever ruled, Roe v. Wade, which had no grounding in constitutional law at all, it was judicial activism, it was invented, has come to an end. And if that doesn't energize us and encourage us and give us the motivation to fight the culture wars and all the social issues, then I don't know what does. But the fight is far from over. The fight that was started by our parents' generation, yes, we've emerged victorious and we should celebrate. But the fight is just beginning for hearts and minds across the country, for unborn babies in the womb in liberal states, in conservative states. Red states are going to be inundated by leftists culturally advocating for abortion, legally pushing for abortion. So it's now our duty, it's our privilege to fight the culture war in our hometowns, in our home states, to make sure that the pro-life mindset is the predominant mindset across the whole country. The greatest generation answered their call to fight for freedom by putting their lives on the line. This is our privilege to build on that, to answer our call, to fulfill our vocation to protect those without a voice, whether it's at the federal level, whether it's at the state level, or whether it's in our own backyard. So let's do it.